Welcome to Keep It, Cricket Media's show about pop culture and politics and what happens when they smack into each other at an alarming speed. I'm your host, Ira Madison III, a television writer and Fall Out Boy fan.
I'm Louis Fertel. I'm a TV writer and Jane Fonda historian.
Let's get into it.
And we are back with an all-new episode of Keep It. I'm Ira Madison III.
I'm Louis Fertel, and we are fresh off our trip to Venezia, where there was a haunting this weekend. When I hear the title, A Haunting in Venice, I immediately think, oh, we'll be discussing how Joker won the Venice Film Festival that one year, and we all just accepted it. No, it's actually the new Poirot mystery with Kenneth Branagh, which you did see this weekend, correct?
You know what? I didn't get to finish the movie. I was kicked out of the theater.
Go on.
For jerking off Lauren Boebert, you know?
Okay. That happens in theaters, yes. If you've ever heard the song You Oughta Know, a lot of things go down in theaters, and she is one of them.
She realized family-friendly Beetlejuice showing, you know what? Maybe I should go to a dark theater, the AMC 19, you know, in Manhattan. And she was like, you know what? Maybe if you finger me, no one will see it. But
oh, I see.
They heard, okay? The screams weren't just coming from the people being haunted in Venice, and we were asked to leave.
I see. That really was just a bone-chilling story. To go on Twitter and see the word fingered, I mean, just...
You see jerking it, and then you're looking at her. What's funny, too, is Twitter, X, whatever you have it now, right, is such a dystopian I Am Legend space right now that I don't even think I get the regular news that I used to get from it anymore. So I heard about it as a friend made a joke about Lauren Boebert this weekend, and I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, oh, you haven't seen this?
It feels like in order for a news story to really hit everywhere on Twitter, it has to be the one story everyone agrees to talk about. You know, it's like if I'm looking at like the trending topics and there's like 7 things, I'll click on them and still not know why they are listed there. Whereas this, I immediately saw the footage. I immediately realized, okay, I've already seen too much. I need to, I guess, just not go to the theater ever. I hope that production of Beetlejuice at least responded, thank you for supporting live theater. I hope they did that.
I'm worried that someone on Broadway, someone off Broadway is already planning to duplicate this for some press. Jeremy O'Harris, do not do it.
There's a profile of him in the New Yorker today, which I have not yet read.
Yeah, it's very interesting for a New Yorker profile. I liked it. I knew most of the things that were in it since I'm friends with Jeremy. But it was one of the nicest, most flowery, beautiful profiles I've read of someone in quite some time. And also, the interviewer followed him around for 3 years, and I was like, I didn't know journalism still had that much money.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. What is this? Like the movie Reds? My God.
What's going on over at the New
Kremlin?
Yes. What's going on over at the New Yorker? Okay, because I need to get on in that budget. Who would you follow for 3 years?
Oh my God. Well, technically, I probably have followed some people for 3 years. I mean, there's just not that much to know about anybody. It's crazy to follow anybody for 3 years. I mean, I would like to know what was up, honestly, with Madonna over the past few years, because there have been so many strange stories about her. But I actually feel bad bringing up that name on this podcast. I feel like I'm constantly turning Keep It into just a Madonna fanzine. So I'll not even explore that. How about you?
A Haunting in Lisbon by Louis.
Yes. Medellin. Yes.
Who would I mean, it seems a little obvious to say Angelina Jolie, but
right. Well, because we never really know what's up with her. I think that's a good answer.
And yet she's always around. She is one of the most comfortable with being in public celebrities that I feel like we know of, because she has her kids, right? And you're always hearing about how she would just like pop up at a bake sale in LA with her kids, or a friend of mine recently was like, they just passed by her in Soho, just getting some coffee.
And she's still friends with Johnny Lee Miller, her first husband. Like they were spotted together at some point. That's a cute little relationship.
I would like them to get back together. I was reading an old Rolling Stone profile of Angelina Jolie. I was reading like a few of them, and it was also very interesting reading these profiles and seeing one, the way we used to write about women, obviously, but they were very focused on like the Billy Bob Thornton era one was very focused on the fact that it was done in her bedroom where they just finished having sex, and the blood was the sign like together forever, always forever, whatever was in blood over her bed. That weird era of Angelina Jolie was fun, but she is one of the few celebrities where each subsequent profile, like she was with a different man or single. So she was in drastically different points in her life when she was being interviewed for these magazine profiles, which is very rare because I feel like even most celebrities through like a divorce or something nowadays, or even in the past, pretty much would stay the same. Maybe not a Madonna or something, but they pretty much stay the same. It feels like she had different eras like every 2 years.
Yes, definitely. Well, I mean, and I think that's apparent in her movies too. Just the size of movies she would take, the genres she would get into. So, a movie we did not bring up when we were discussing her last week that I guess is one of her definitive movies, Wanted?
I love Wanted. Those curving ass bullets.
That's a fun one. I remember believing in James McAvoy. I remember those days.
But with Johnny, it was interesting that she noted that they were together and then they broke up before they were married. She was together with him and then they broke up, and that's when she had her lesbian era. And then they got married after that, but then still stayed friends after that too. So they've been through some breakups and getting together. And I'm always very fond of people recircling back in life to a partner that they were with years ago.
Oh, no. I mean, like, the Ben and J-Lo thing is spiritually satisfying. I say this not as, like, a mega fan of either of them. There's just something that is amazing about it. Also, do you think she was scared off women for good? Because I assume that was when she made the movie Gia, and that's when I assumed she worked with Faye Dunaway, and I think that's probably when she said, I actually never need to meet a woman again. I want to know Angelina's Faye Dunaway trauma. That's what I want to know.
You want to work with...
I don't think we ever got that story.
Angelina Jolie really wants to work with female directors, but she hates women, thanks to Faye Dunaway. So she says, I will be the female director.
Yes. First, they killed my love of women is the name of the movie. Yes.
Actually, I would follow
First, they killed my father is a movie she made, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Go ahead.
I would follow Faye Dunaway around. Girl, I wish they'd kill her father.
Oh my God. And also, it's like, where will that take you? One time I saw Faye Dunaway in West Hollywood, and I just, a chill ran up, I think, my spine and the whole city's spine, right at once. I want to say she's in New York more often. Anyway, go ahead.
Someone follow her around, but they need a good constitution for that. I was thinking about Faye Dunaway recently, because there was their interview with Jane Fonda where she had mentioned there was always some rumor that Jane was that there was always the joke, Jane Fonda wouldn't take a movie, because then like the second choice or something would be Faye Dunaway or something.
Right. They competed for roles for a long time. Yes. Jane always says she wishes she had gotten Bonnie and Clyde, for example.
Yes. But I believe that she had said something about either like network or something that like she was never like considered for that at all seriously. So it wasn't like Faye Dunaway was the second choice when it was written for Jane.
Oh, okay.
I might be thinking of the wrong movie, but she was defending Faye Dunaway's honor.
Oh, I see. They in that play about Sue Mangers, the rabid Hollywood agent.
She was responding to
Bette Midler
that.
played her. Yes, in that play, that character talks about how both of them were up for Chinatown, and eventually Faye Dunaway got it.
Chinatown.
Yes.
Jane in Chinatown would have been good.
Yeah, though that character really requires not just mystique, but something like actually unhinged. And let me tell you, those are the two things Faye Dunaway has.
That's fair. And you know what? As much as young Jane Fonda was sexy, I think she was more sweet and sort of cute, almost girl next door-y, woman next door before the Hanoi Jane stuff. So I don't think that she had that sort of like raw, nasty sexuality that Faye Dunaway had.
Yeah, even when she's in like Clute, it's like this hyper articulate, kind of like a
she's heady
Ivy League girl or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Faye Dunaway went to a community school. Okay.
And the community should be jailed if you know what she's done.
Okay, so this movie, A Haunting in Venice. You know what? I like the hell out of this movie.
First of all, I really liked it. Second of all, definitely most improved Kenneth Branagh. I mean, if we're going up the Murder on the Orient Express, I hated. Death on the Nile, I thought was like a little bit better. But also, unlike those two movies, this one is less obsessed with one seeming lavish because by the way, both those movies, even though they're very expensive, look cheap. And then secondly, their primary objective is to like give 2 minutes apiece to all of the ensemble famous actors, and then they all add up to nothing, and just, you know, Poirot solves it and we move on with our lives. This one, it gets to just be a spooky, fun, kind of Scooby-Doo style mystery. And then although there are famous actors in it, you don't feel like anybody is like gunning for caricature of the year in this movie. It just gets to be a fun little mystery with a lot of thunder and stuff.
Well, so Tina Fey.
Here's the thing about Tina Fey in this movie. I'm not going to call it a brilliant performance, but I liked it in a high school acting way. You know, the accent that comes and goes, but she's like super game for it. I did have a question about that role. Do you think you wanted Phoebe Waller-Bridge and she couldn't do it?
I could definitely see that.
Doesn't that seem right?
Yeah, because Tina Fey just seems like sort of
American.
Seems very American, sort of out there. Honestly, the Tina Fey element of it kept making me think, whenever I would see commercials for it, I kept thinking it was the commercial for Haunted Mansion, because I would think that Tina Fey would be in Haunted Mansion. Is she in Haunted Mansion?
No, I don't believe so.
But she seems more ripe to be in Haunted Mansion than she would be in a Kenneth Branagh Agatha Christie adaptation. You know?
Right, where she's playing a sort of exotic, period piece woman, whereas everything about Tina Fey belongs to the 21st century.
Yes. I kept expecting her to make jokes about cheese or about her iPad, but Google Maps took forever to get me to your place in Venice. Otherwise, I thought all the actors were perfectly cast, and they were very much actors who were falling into their roles and not having sort of a big and a champagne to fill the Nile moment like Gal Gadot, which you put Gal Gadot in your movie and then you keep her alive that fucking long when we're just waiting for her death to happen so the story could get started. That really put a hamper on Death on the Nile, you know?
Yes, definitely. Well, also the original adaptation of Death on the Nile in the 70s, while lots of fun performances in it, so overlong. They could have cut down that movie and this movie so much. The actor who really vanished in this role for me was Jamie Dornan. I just feel like Jamie Dornan has been he was so associated with those fucking 50 Shades movies that it was nice to see him disappear into something else. Like he felt like an actor again in the way that he'd felt when he did The Fall with Gillian Anderson. Which we, of course, love.
Yeah,
yes.
And then those 3 movies just sort of like made him feel like, who are you? Like we'd never see him
not
again.
Important.
Maybe.
Correct.
And this reminded me that he's a really good actor.
Also, of course, Michelle Yeoh is in this movie. She gets the most to do in a shortish role, though. I think she is a lot of fun. Yes.
Honestly?
No, she's like frightening and possessed and holds your attention. It's like, this is, if anything, you just wanted like 3 or 4 more scenes from her, but she really turns it out in this movie.
Honestly, in this year where I feel like there's so little coming out, a supporting actress nom for Michelle Yeoh for this movie, she earns it.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a very, very fun performance. And I will say about these movies, I think the one thing I'm still struggling with, and the thing that kind of makes you forget to look forward to these movies or the potential of these movies, is that there is an X factor missing from Kenneth Branagh's performance. It's not that it doesn't have enough character. Like, he's got the good Belgian accent. The look of him is great. It's just lacking like a drollness or something signature and old fashioned that we love about Agatha Christie. And also, by the way, as a director, we still have the main fucking problems he brings to these movies, which is, can this man stop with the fucking close-ups and the fucking tilted camera? Every goddamn shot.
The beginning of this movie started and I was like, did he just leave the fucking camera on the ground and go to lunch? Why am I staring at people's noses? It's like you were looking for cocaine on Taylor Swift.
Every shot is like, it's like pointed down at people's foreheads. It makes no sense. It also makes it look so cheap. Like you're angling down on people's faces so we don't see that there's no set behind them or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's those moments that make the movie look cheaper than it is. I'm sure these are like somewhat pricey movies. It's in fucking Venice, or it appears to be in Venice. By the way, the best movie ever set in Venice, Summertime by David Lean, starring Katharine Hepburn. If you haven't seen that, great movie.
You're absolutely right on about Kenneth Branagh as Perot, because what made the Knives Out movies so interesting to people and sort of reinvigorated whodunit sort of sensibility for audiences, it's Daniel Craig's performance as Benoit Blanc. You know, it's always been, you know, seeing Columbo, seeing Magnum PI. You know, there's always, even Veronica Mars. There's always something to the performance that hooks you and lets you know who this person is, right? And I just feel like there's nothing really distinctive about Hercule Poirot in these films besides the fact that he is over it all the time. Each film seems to have started
Speaks a little too quickly.
Each film seems to have started with him wanting to get away from it all. And I'm like,
yeah, right.
Okay,
in a
girl.
James Bondy way, which we're always sick of that too, when James Bond's doing that. Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that much happened on Death in the Nile as compared to anything else for him to be like, you know what? I really got to get away from it all. And I get that is a character arc to get him to where you need him to be at the end of the film, and sort of the impetus for Tina Fey's character even approaching him, but it feels very artificial.
Yeah, completely. You're just like, let's get past this part. These movies aren't that long. You're wasting too much time on this. Right.
Yeah.
Definitely his best one yet. And by the way, the Metacritic score, and of course, Metacritic is where we go to look up movie scores, right, everybody? Is definitely, it's the highest rated one. It's barely in the green. It's in the 60s. But I would, for a light entertainment that is, you know, not trying to win the Palme d'Or, I thought it was perfectly adorable.
I was at the bookstore before I saw the film and truly overheard two people who worked there discussing the film. They hadn't seen it yet, but someone said, no, I heard Haunting in Venice is actually good.
That's the level of, at least the bar is set where it should have been, because he cleared it.
Honestly, kind of ace to start a film franchise and have one of them be abysmal, but make enough money to make a second one, which is campy and fun, and people are excited to see it, and then make a third one that's actually pretty competent and good.
Right. You know, it's a little like Twilight or something in that way. You know, like, oh, by the third one, it got a little good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's sort of what I would compare it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, you don't feel like there are any wasted performances. Like in Murder on the Orient Express, it's like, we've drafted Judi Dench for this. Like, let her live in the Abbey she belongs in or whatever. Like, Penelope Cruz, like, what are you doing here?
Honestly, I even teared up a little at the Meet Me in St. Louis monologue.
Oh, that was very, very cute.
Yeah,
yes.
That was well done. That felt like a piece of writing.
Right. Also, I love that it's an unexpected choice of an Agatha Christie adaptation. Like, my instinct would be, oh, he'll do Evil Under the Sun next. But I like how he's picking these, like, lesser moments and turning them into movies. Like, Agatha Christie is so readable. We should be seeing different underseen titles in these in theaters.
All right, well, we've got quite an episode this week. First of all, the icon, the legend, superstar Symone is our guest this week.
Oh my gosh. I have to tell you, I think I've talked about this before. I have sometimes a short memory for Drag Race, or like you have to like show me the YouTube clip again to show me the slay someone did or whatever. Symone, one of the few people ever where I remember the first time I saw her when she was performing Pleasure Principle, and the gobsmacking hilarity and star power she brought to just that initial performance. I have never met her before. She's always around LA. I'm so excited to talk to her today.
We're also going to play a game this week, Louis. It's called Two Truths and a Liar.
And go ahead, meaning what?
The liar is Hasan Minhaj.
Oh, yes. Where are the two truths? Sounds like there wasn't one truth.
We're going to talk about the controversy surrounding Hasan Minhaj's show, Patriot Act, some of his stand-up performances, and the New Yorker article that revealed it all. Also, Drake is getting in fights with Halle Berry, and I do not know why. But we're going to talk about that and album covers that may be a little bit more iconic than his cover for a song called Slime You Out. And I'm sure you don't even want me to describe what that means.
Yeah, I am not confused about it, and I wasn't thinking about it. So,
all right, we will be back with more Keep It. Last week, a story in The New Yorker exposed Hasan Minhaj from making up several stories in his stand-up, which wouldn't really be a big deal if it didn't involve an anthrax scare or being almost assassinated by the Saudi government. Do we think this matters, or is this just comedians being comedians?
I will say this. It does feel incredibly... I'm sorry, we don't have another word for lame yet. I'm just going to say lame. I'm sorry. To complain that a comedian lied to
light you up.
Just, I know. But like, to be like, I can't believe he would exaggerate. When, of course you can believe that. When a comedian is on stage, you know, it's not like you come away from a show afterwards being like, journalistically, I need to tell my friends what this person's life was like or whatever. It's like, no, you remember the jokes they told, etc. That said, it does feel incredibly telling that he would lie, one, repeatedly, and two, lie involving members of his family. I'm just saying, when this child of his grows up and has to like be asked about going to a hospital because of an anthrax scare, is that person expected to lie on his dad on their dad's behalf? You know, like to rope in your loved ones into the lie. That does seem a bit concerning.
Reminds you a bit of James Fry, A Million Little Pieces, that memoir that was completely fictionalized.
And Oprah was
duped.
A bit hurt.
She was duped. I feel duped.
Speaking of Poro.
Honestly, classic episode of Oprah. Yes. Her bringing him to the Oprah. So what you need to know about this, if you are not familiar with the story, is James Fry wrote a memoir called A Million Little Pieces, and it was about alcoholism. It was about, being arrested. It was, he lived a life. Okay. And the book was about that and how he came back from the brink. And it was one of the first picks, I feel like, for, or at least an early one for Oprah's book club. And
right, in the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Oprah touted this book everywhere. When something's on Oprah's book club, now I feel like it's sort of whatever. But in the 2000s, it might not seem like anything now with a Oprah's book club sticker on a book or, Reese's book club. But Oprah started the celebrity book club shit.
Totally.
If Oprah had her stamp of approval on a book, bitches were buying it. Bitches were reading.
It was like the only book in existence for certain people. Yes, correct.
Especially as people who've worked at bookstores.
Oh, please. That's what they would come in demanding. Absolutely. Where is it?
And the entire
and also my latte. Yes.
The entire front display would be nothing but that fucking book.
Absolutely. Right. It was because then people would have their own book clubs, and that would give them an impetus to get it, and they would be discussing it. It was almost like pyramid scheme level. Like Oprah would just say something, and then it would trickle down through the suburbs.
Oprah started an MLM? You're kidding me. But basically, she rode hard for this book and for James Fry. And then when it turned out that he had fabricated many elements of his life, she welcome to my parlor, said the spider to the fly. She invited him onto her show to drag him to hell.
And also, man, is she intimidating in certain circumstances. I don't need to remind our listeners of when she told Lindsay Lohan to cut the bullshit. All I know is if I were Lindsay Lohan, I would be cutting the bullshit. That's all I know. Oprah has a power that I can only describe as speech tame. Like when like every word matters, and you're going to listen to it come out of my mouth, and you will be inspired by it. But if you come too close, you will be terrified by it too. Yeah,
it's like the entire Keke Palmer, Angela Bassett scene at the end of Akeelah and the Bee.
No, here's the thing. When it comes to whether comedians should be truthful about everything that happens to them or how truthful they need to be, whatever, I have to say, I can't think of too many instances where I've watched a comedian and they've told a farfetched story, and then I've even thought about it for 2 seconds afterwards or minded whether or not it was real. So in a way, I can't in good faith be like, they shouldn't say exaggerated things or whatever, because I just don't know that viewers care or it's that important. I think it's just a matter of if you malign somebody or if you, again, are dragging people into the lie who then would have to back it up on their own accord, namely your family members. That's the part that I find very strange.
Listen, if you are writing a book, a memoir about someone in your family who's dead, say whatever the fuck you want about them. You know?
Yes.
They can't fact check it.
Yeah.
But I feel like involving the FBI, involving the Saudi government with a timeline that completely does not mash up, and it's also it involves the death of a prominent journalist who a lot of people cared about, and that was a pretty big news story. If you say you were sitting with the Sultan, you need to be sitting with the Sultan, okay? Like, you can't be like, if it happened months before, you then can't just say, well, I mashed up the timelines so that it would seem like that happened at the same time, which is interesting because if you made a film later, like a biopic about Hasan Minhaj's life, and you did that, some people might point out the inconsistencies, but you get much more creative license when you're making a film that's fictionalized, a fictionalized depiction of someone's life, right? I think what happens when you're doing stand-up or you're doing a show like The Patriot Act and you've been presented as this person who presents the news and your reactions to it, there is no understanding that things in the story might be fake or might have been stretched for dramatic effect. There's even a notice like that before biopics, right? If there was a sort of disclaimer that some things were stretched for story purposes, then that might make a bit more sense. But there isn't really that. And so that, I think, is where people are sort of angry when it comes to that, because comedians in general, I think generally if you're going to see stand-up and a comedian is making a joke, I take most jokes with a grain of salt. You know, you joke about your breakup, something your girlfriend said, something your ex-boyfriend said, something your parents said to you. You can exaggerate that. Or if it was an uncle, you can make it your dad. You do whatever. You know, it's just comedy. I think that Hasan Minhaj was in a different genre of comedy than that.
Right. Also, one of the things he did was he blurred out a picture of a woman he used to date and fabricated a story about her, and then people traced it to her. And she, in recounting this, said he invited her to the show to watch this. And
welcome to my parlor.
He was trying to humiliate her. Yes, right. But she didn't go to the parlor. Yeah.
He tried to set her up.
Right. I mean, like, the nature of these lies, like the grandeur of them, I mean, bringing up, the Saudi situation, whatever. It does remind me of, I always say this, everybody in their life is entitled to meet one serious liar. You know, like you have a coworker or whatever, and it's just the kind of person where eventually you and 9 other people have a meeting and compare notes and realize it doesn't add up. And where is this person coming from? And what's with all these unforced errors where they brought up all these crazy things? That is the level of lying I think is going on here.
Yes, because there's someone who tells a lie of convenience. And there's some people who just sort of can't, help themselves with embellishing things. I mean, listen, I feel like whenever you are telling a story, particularly at brunch, or you're telling it to your friends, you always got to put a little sauce on it.
Right.
You have
to
tell an interesting story. But then there's people who are truly a fucking mystery. I want to tell you this story about my friend Ejim in New York. We had an afters at his place once. We left the bar, Paul's Casablanca. There was this funny moment where there was a limo outside of the bar, and the guy who drove it offered to drive us to Brooklyn, to Ejim's apartment. And splitting it, we all paid about $10 each. So we were like, why get an Uber? We can just take the limo.
Precisely.
This girl, maybe a drag queen, maybe someone trans, not really sure, but this girl gets into the limo with us, and we all think that someone else in the limo knows them.
Oh my God, this should be the next Branagh mystery. All right, this is so exciting.
They come to the afters and talking to everyone And at a certain point, we all realize no one knows who this bitch is.
Okay.
Then they ceremoniously get up and vanish from the apartment once they've been found out.
Amazing. After she gets into the charcuterie, she like moseys on out.
But it was really a situation of telling each person in the room separately that they knew a different person in the room. Like, oh, I'm Ira's friend. Or, oh, I'm Egypt's friend. Like, oh, I'm their friend. When she left, we were all comparing notes like, who was that bitch? I thought you knew her. I thought you knew her.
I want to see the ensemble poster for this movie, and it's called Who Was That Bitch? And you have like looks askance all over the poster. Do you know where I think if you want to look up comedians lying, I think where you need to check is their books. Because, by the way, that's the point of celebrities or comedians releasing books is they're telling wild stories about their past and adding jokes or whatever. That is where I feel like they have to embellish. I'm talking about, look, I don't want to make a formal accusation, but I'll just say the kind of book I'm referring to is books by Chelsea Handler. Are we sure? She's got some wild story on some cruise ships and stuff. I just don't know if that was ever verified.
You mean she didn't really go to Uganda?
Uganda be kidding me with these lies.
Nobody better fact check my book. That's all I got to say.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it hasn't even come out yet. So
that's all I got to say. I will be Julie Chen answering questions about her book and Les Moonves. Ira, did you make up this story about your childhood? That's not what we're here to talk about. I want to talk about the Lord.
Wait, did she do that on this press tour?
Have you not
she has
seen
a book?
this? First of all, she has a book called But First, God.
Which is unbelievable. First of all, just to explain, Julie Chen on Big Brother often says, but first, while transitioning from one scene to another while narrating the show. She also apparently has fallen in with the Lord over the past couple of years, whatever that means. It's been a tough time in the Moonves household. God comes into play. Anyway, the book is called But First, God, which is so funny.
She discusses on Good Morning America with Juju Chang, who, by the way, great reporter, because Juju presses her. She is asking about the Les Moonves allegations and the fact that Julie brings them up in the book and talks about how traumatizing it was to have to explain things to her son. And she explains that Julie Chen was a different woman, and Julie Chen Moonves is a woman of God who wants to help others. And, she says Julie Chen, people might have seen her as, a little vain, a little superficial, maybe gossiped a bit too much. But Julie Chen Moonves is a woman who cares about people. And truly, there's a moment where Juju asks about the Les allegations. And almost like Whitney talking to Diane Sawyer, I kid you not, Julie Chen smiles, a little Joker smile, and says,
Tilt.
That's not what we're here to talk about.
Frightening. Love it. That's not what we're here to talk about. Wow. Real journalisty spin, too,
But if you want to ask about that, and then she gives some canned answer.
Which is interesting because from time to time, Julie Chen will surprise you with I don't want to say candid answer, but like she'll get into it. She'll like trash, contestants on Big Brother in terms of what gameplay they've done or something. She's not always like entirely objective. That said, when it comes to this topic, she's been particularly cagey.
I mean, she did just call Bowie Jane on this season an NPC, a non-playable character. She said, Bowie Jane, get in the game.
By the way, NPC is now something we just call people in regular life. Like I have friends in San Francisco who are always like, oh, we're not going to their place. Those people are NPCs. And I just want to say that is such a fucking rude insult. It is basically saying these people have no reason to exist. Like, it's almost too nasty for me, and I would basically say that kind of thing about other people.
Almost? What did you say last week about... Someone brought it up in the YouTube comments, but they were like, wow, way harsh, Louis. That could
have been anything.
It was my favorite things is when you are really angry about something and you have just an aside where you're like, well, people who do that are fucking losers.
Oh, that's right. I remember what I was saying. Pining, what losers on the internet do. But to which I would say, I also am on the internet. I am a piner myself. I don't mean to say I'm not among the community. I don't do it as well as some of them do. That said.
I'm a Chris Piner.
Oh, I see. Remember him? I did enjoy him from time to time. I guess he's still around.
He is still around. There was a very funny tweet the other day. Shanta Parasurama, who's an actress on Most Wanted on CBS. I hope I'm getting your name right, Shanta. I love you. She tweeted, at Disney today, my girlfriend was making fun of the guy picketing in front of us in white saddle shoes and khaki capris. And lo and behold, later we realized it's Chris Pine.
Wow. Wait, describe that outfit again?
White saddle shoes and khaki capris.
Wow, he was on holiday that day
with a
Jesus.
tucked in blue dress shirt.
Wow. Do you know what just came to mind? The way people dressed in heaven in the movie What Dreams May Come. That is what popped to mind. Maybe I have a condition. Why would I think of that?
Actually, Chris Pine is an actor that I would love to follow around for 3 years.
You know what, though? I hate when people get the Chris's confused. I literally was about to say he was so good in the Ghostbusters reboot. That was Chris Hemsworth. That's my favorite Chris Hemsworth performance.
Yeah. Remember when he was doing comedy and not starring in Black Hat?
Yes. Black Hat. We did that too, Viola Davis. Remember that? Yes.
Truly the worst crime Michael Mann has ever committed. And I love Michael Mann.
I want to say he's directing a new movie. He is. That movie, Ferrari, that's coming out soon.
Adam Driver looks good in it.
Remember the movie Annette? We put Adam Driver in that.
You know
with Marion Cotillard.
She really does anything, okay? She will do anything except for believe that those planes hit those towers.
She can act, but not that well.
I think Adam Driver actually is going to go down as one of our best actors of this current generation. He makes very good choices. And even when he makes mainstream blockbuster choices, they're not embarrassing. Kylo Ren, not a wholly embarrassing endeavor.
Right. I mean, I love, my favorite Adam Driver movie is the movie Patterson, which I feel like people have totally forgotten about, the Jim Jarmusch movie. So good in that. I thought that was such an impressive performance.
Were people upset about the blackface? You know, him portraying Sister Patterson, New York's mother?
Yeah. You know what? Those are actually unrelated.
I think he would be great.
He was not doing that in that movie.
I think he would be great playing New York's mother.
This happens all the time, by the way. 2010's blackface movie, you know. It's crazy that people have forgotten. You know?
I love Michael Mann, but Black Hat was an anomaly.
Yeah, too long. Not interesting enough.
Actually,
anyway.
Not as bad as his worst film, which I would say is Public Enemies, that Johnny Depp monstrosity.
They shot that all around my hometown. Literally, you'll go to like Joliet or whatever, be like, oh, that's another scene where they shot Public Enemies. I'm like, can we stop bringing up this like 41% on Rotten Tomatoes ass movie? The amount of weird things we let Marion Cotillard do after she won an Oscar. Very strange.
I think we probably brought this up on the show, but as I said in an interview with someone recently, we've done almost 300 episodes of this fucking show. I don't know what the fuck we've talked about.
Right? No, please. And they'll keep coming up again. We're still Alice over here, honey. We don't know what topics have gone through our heads.
But they definitely shot it when we were in college, when we were in undergrad. And the only thing I remember about Public Enemies is that I met this guy at Roscoe's and I went home with him and they were shooting Public Enemies outside of his apartment.
This was like, so you're saying this was in the city of Chicago?
Yeah, in Lincoln Park.
Bizarre. They're like, we must get Wrigleyville in the background, otherwise this movie won't work. Anyway, Hasan Minhaj. Weird.
Liar.
Yeah. Liar is such a funny word.
But you know what? I lie too. We all lie. We all lie for commercial breaks because we will be right back with Symone. You trust your water filter pitcher to make taps safe to drink, but is it really doing a goddamn thing, Louis?
Wow, coming at you with eyewitness news energy here.
Most filters can't remove gross contaminants like bacteria, parasites, PFAs, and microplastics. But LifeStraw is a kitchen upgrade you'll wish you made years ago. It's the only water pitcher that filters out over 30 contaminants, including bacteria and microplastics, and makes your water taste way better. With its sleek, hand-blown glass design, It's perfect for your fridge or countertop.
You know, I'm not positive when I learned that most water filter pitchers aren't really doing anything, but I always suspected, and I'll be honest, I felt bad even questioning it. You know, you look at them and you think science knows more than I do, and science is this pitcher thing in front of me. No, it's just a pitcher. It's just something sitting in the fridge. Anyway, Life Straw, I'm on your side. Better filtration, better taste, better design. Use code KEEPIT to get 20% off your first purchase of any Life Straw home product at lifestraw.com. Cannot be combined with other offers.
You know what? I love my Life Straw because I used to put all my water into the Kool-Aid man.
Yes.
He looks great. You know, he's such a nice friend to have in my fridge, but he would always mix my water with sugar.
And then he's always bursting through the walls and bothering the neighbors. You live in my fridge, not theirs.
Keep It is brought to you by Smile Actives. Are you self-conscious about your smile due to stains? I see you drinking that iced coffee, Louis.
I know. I think about it every day. I'm going to look like your haggard old boss in the city soon.
Popular food and drinks are known to stain teeth, and beverages like coffee and wine stain them over time. So what can you do to brighten your smile? Well, you should give Smile Actives a try. Smile Actives is safe, effective, easy to use, and will keep you smiling proudly.
97% of Smile Actives users in a clinical trial reported up to 6 shades whiter on average, all within 30 days. You ever wish that you had a whiter and brighter smile? Well, before you visit a dentist, you should know that their whitening treatments can be very expensive, and it's not just the price. You also have to book the appointment and schedule time away from work or family to sit in a dentist's office chair while undergoing the procedure. It's a hassle. Fortunately, now you can try Smile Actives at home or anywhere, anytime. Smile Actives offers a safe and affordable alternative to those expensive whitening procedures. Simply add Smile Actives Pro Whitening Gel to your regular toothpaste. I do this all the time. It's been formulated with polyclean technology to boost stain removal and deliver active whitening ingredients into teeth grooves and crannies to get better smile whitening. Smile Actives makes a teeth whitening gel that can simply be added to your toothpaste every time you brush your teeth, so no change in your routine, no extra time, yet people will start commenting on your whiter, brighter smile in just days. Smile Actives is the whitening boost your favorite toothpaste needs to give you the smile you deserve.
Honestly, that is a great compliment to give someone. Just commenting on their whiter, brighter smile.
Interesting, sincere moment from you. I'm taken aback. Visit smileactives.com/keepit today to receive our special buy one, get one free offer with auto delivery plus free shipping and handling. That's smileactives.com/keepit. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details.
Our gorgeous guest today has descended from the drag heavens to be here with us, and we are thrilled to have her. A drag race champion, a model, a fashion icon, a founding member of the House of Avalon. Keep it, listeners. Please bow down today before the ebony enchantress herself, Symone.
Hey, bitch. What's going on?
Why wasn't Ebony Enchantress a Saturday morning cartoon I grew up with? Why?
Why? It was really?
No, I wish it were.
Oh, okay. Well, it was, if you think about it. If you think about it real nice and tight, it was. It was.
I mean, honestly, watching you from Drag Race to now Avalon TV, I just feel like we need a Symone animated series. Either you are fighting crime, or it's sort of a Gem in the Hologram situation, or whatever. I would want to watch it. Very 80s style. I feel like you could mix that into Avalon TV, which is so fun to me because it's, your new show on WoW. And it is, the whole House of Avalon gathered together. And it really feels sort of like Nickelodeon Roundhouse or something, or all that vibes. There's just different sketches and moments and reality mixed into it. How did this come about?
Well, we've always been those divas. We were like, I feel like we should be on TV. We're just crazy. You know what I mean? And everyone should be able to experience this. And all of us have our own kind of love and genres of television that we love. And so this was like our way of being like, hey, we want to exploit television, darling. And so WoW came to us. It was after the win, and they started just being like, hey, we want to film you guys. And then it started with them just filming us. And then we were kind of like, hey, we want to kind of infuse our real life, but also do all the things that we love about television. So we have sketches. We have a little bit of a talk show moment in there starring me. It's called you. I'm the host, darling. It is On Tonight with Symone. And we have, we do a kind of our own version of, we call it drag ass, darling. So we're all in accoutrements, and we do fun little, I can't tell you now, you have to watch it. But we do fun little challenges that are nice and fun. And it's just an amalgamation of everything that we love about television, you know. So it just kind of came from us being followed by the TV and the production, and then we were like, let's just do more. Why not do more? And it just kind of all came together like that.
I think something that's awesome about this is it just says something about your relationships with these people. Like, I'm learning a lot about how you guys communicate and what you guys are into and why you guys inspire each other. Is there something about these relationships that you really want broadcasted? Like, what do you want people to take away from seeing all you guys working together?
I don't know. I think we're kind of in a very interesting time in the world, and I think all we just wanted was just everyone to have fun with us. You know, we love each other deeply, and we've been, the core 5 of us have been around for 10 years. All of us have been together. 10 with me, and then a little bit more with everyone else. But we just wanted to give some levity, some light, some love, and a laughter to everyone. And I think we just want everyone to have fun with us like we have fun. And we just wanted everyone to see that and see what a chosen family is like, you know. And I don't know, I'm just excited for everyone to just see what we do behind closed doors. Everyone sees us party and all those types of things. But, you know, we are a real family, and there's ups, there's downs. But it's all fun. It's all fun, and it's deep, real love. So I'm just excited for everyone to see that in the light.
No, I mean, even just seeing you out at parties and things, I feel like even though I've moved to New York from LA, I see you all the damn time, girl. You are everywhere, and I'm always seeing you at the Boom Boom Room.
Baby, let me tell you something. I love the boom boom. I like me some boom boom. Okay, and I tell everybody, every time I come to New York, I get in trouble. Because I be going over there, and it's the Boom Room, and then we go to the Hell's Kitchen, then we go down, then we go over there to Brooklyn. It's just too much. We be doing too much. But I love New York. New York there's a different type of energy than there is to LA. You know, LA is more chill, more relaxed. But when you go over there to New York, baby, you can find any and everything you want. And I be trying to find it, child. I be trying to find every bit of it.
I do have to say, I would normally not defame LA this way, but I feel like when you go out in New York at night, you can't make a bad decision. Like, everything has a vibe. You know what I mean? Whereas LA loves being vibeless. That's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah, vibeless. And we say, I love you, LA. I live here. This is my home now. But you can go to New York and you can catch whatever you want. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Within reason, yes. Yeah.
Within reason.
I've caught it.
True. You caught it.
The clinic's right up the street. I'm good.
But that's what I love. I love it. It's just so fun, and I've cultivated a group of good friends there, and anytime I go over there, I can call them up, and be like, hey, I'm here for X amount of time. Anytime they come here, you know, it's just different, but it's really fun. Can't live there though. Would never die. Can never die.
Well,
I say all that to say I'm living in LA.
Speaking of you visiting New York, it's usually for fashion events. And what I find so interesting is, you know, you came on the show and you had all these iconic looks. And now we see, you know, you work with Marco, who is in House of Avalon with you. And I want to know about you working within fashion, but also coming from, you know, a house where you can have pieces created for you. Do you like playing in other like labels and fashion, or do you prefer to, you know, to wear custom pieces that are for you? Like, what's your relationship with the fashion world as it's developing since you've won?
Oh my God, I love it all. I love it all. I love being able to wear other people's art. I think that's really fun, and like finding your own personality in it. You know, like everyone has a vision of when they make something, but it's fun to take what they have created and be like, oh, how do I make it Symone, darling? How do I put my own little spin on it? But I also love a custom moment because it's all I love being like, hey, I have this idea, and then I'll work with Marco and with Grant, and be like, how, and then they'll put their spin on it and be like, you should do this, and you should put this on it. It's just really fun to be collaborative in that way. But I love it all. I think it's all very fun, and it's all. Listen, I'm, like you said, I'm from Arkansas. So being able to watch it as when I was growing up and getting into drag and being like, this is kind of what I want to do with my drag. And then you snap your fingers, I won. And then they all won. And then they're all asking me to come to their shows and see it and wear their stuff. It's humbling in a way. And I love it. And getting to know these people and, I don't know. It's a dream come true. And being able to cultivate those relationships and keep them going and, grow and still being inspired and then growing with myself. It's all very fun. It's all fun. And I think it's something that I only dreamed of. And now I get to do it. And now all of us, hopefully in the future, we get to do it too.
This is a question I have for all Drag Race alums, but after the show, do you miss competing? And by that I mean, like, I say this as a competitive person, like, if I feel like competition brings something out of me that usually is a good thing, I really brought it, etc. But
I was gonna say, does it bring out the dark side in you?
Certainly, yes. I've been confronted a couple of times. Yeah.
Don't play a game with Louis, okay? Right. Do not play a game with Louis.
No. Scrabble ends poorly for me often, but I feel like, the interesting thing about Drag Race is that drag was never like that much of a formal competition before, and then on the show, it gave you reason to sort of be like tenacious in a different way with the art form. And when you're not on the show, do you ever miss that?
No.
Yeah.
I don't. Going into it, it was a very different mindset for me. Like, usually, I did it. I don't know. Drag for me came from just a need to express myself. It wasn't like something I need to put, like, my drag wasn't something I need to put against someone else necessarily. Mm-hmm. So going into it, like, I had to be like, oh shit, how many of us were there? There were 13 of us, I believe. So like, oh shit, like, gotta get it together, sis. This is a competition. So like, that part of it wasn't necessarily something I miss, but the camaraderie I did love. And then, of course, winning and those 4 challenges, that was really fun too. But
such an amazing season. I mean, even a show that rarely has a bad season. I mean, it's just an amazing season.
It truly. Mm-hmm. And I think also, like, at the time, like, it was, COVID was happening and people were at home and we were filming it, and then like we were coming on the tail end of everything. So like it's just, I think that whole season's for all of us. Sometimes I talk to the girls, I was like, we were very lucky in a way. Lucky 13. To like get what we had at the time. It's just a very special season, I think. And something I won't say won't get again, but it's just, the world was just in a very different place. And we went on and we had a very unique experience. So like, I think it translated on screen as well, for the good and the bad, So I don't necessarily miss the competition aspect of it, but I do miss like getting to see Ru every other day. I do miss that. Hey, Ma.
Yes, Ru listens to us every week. She will definitely hear this.
Absolutely.
My question about the show, also is, when you come up with these custom pieces that obviously. Mm-hmm. You come in and you have pieces built for each competition, etc. What is it like when you are competing and you're getting the feeling that maybe I lost this week or maybe I need to step it up the next week, but I already have my piece or whatever I'm going to be wearing for this competition, so it's not like I can get something new next week.
Right.
Like you're sort of set.
It's kind of like, no, this is what I brought, this is what I have today. But like, I'm gonna be real honest on this podcast. Because, you know, I got to give y'all the real take. When I went into there, I said, you know what? I don't know what the competitions are going to be. I don't know what the challenges are going to be. But I know I'm going to look stunning, bitch. They can't say I know I'm going to stomp that runway. So when I had those moments of, you know, doubt, or when I knew that I was like, I didn't do that great this week, I was like, I can at least say I'm going to go in here and look. I'm going to look really fucking good, you know? But it's hard because, like, when you do it, the challenges are the challenges, and they're, you know, like, you do a pageant, and that's most of your score, you know, for the week. So, like, no matter how good you look, how did you do in the challenge? So it's not something you can necessarily, like, fall back on and be like, oh, this is gonna get me out of it today. Because, darling, if you weren't funny, if you weren't hitting the mark, if you weren't hitting the dance moves, you're gonna be on the lower end. You know what I mean? But you'll look good. The cameras will pick it up. You look the sparkle and shine, darling. You look great, but you didn't hit the mark this week. So it's nice to know that aspect of it, but it's like you still have to bring it every week. You still have to be like on. You know, they said we're looking for the star, darling.
Also, you were one of the queens where from the jump you were immediately hilarious. At the top of the podcast, I was talking about how I remember the moment I first saw you when you did the Pleasure Principle, and what you did during the performance was so funny. I was with all my friends who were just like screaming. And my question is, who did before you went on the show, or like I understand you've been watching Drag Race since you were like 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Who did you find funny? Who were the people that you were like, oh yeah, those are my people. Those are the funny people.
Oh my God, that's a great question. No one's ever asked me that. That's a great question. Okay, so you know, I grew up watching someone that I always like go back to. RuPaul, I always think is very funny.
Still is. RuPaul's hilarious. Yes.
Still is very funny. But Tyler, I always go back to the men in wigs, and Tyler Perry is a very big one for me because it was like growing up. It was like he was making fun of like the ridiculousness and like growing up to be how it is to grow up and be black, and I took it as a way like, I mean, he's not of our family, the LGBTQ, but I always took it of like, what is it like to be like a black gay kid looking at black culture and like poking fun at it. And so he to me is a very, very big inspiration. And like, of course, he had Medea who was in drag, so like, I don't know, those two people really like the ridiculousness of it all. And like, I looked at RuPaul and like, he was a black kid who like just grew up having to his own beat of his own drum and like making fun of all the everything, all of it, and like opening up a different avenue to look at other people and like study them. So like, those were the big two for me. And like, finding the funniness of it all, because you know, mostly me, I'm a drama girl, so like I watch my dramedies and I'll find the humor in that. But those are my big two, I think. Yeah, my girls.
Yeah, well, you know, speaking of even the culture that you're consuming, I feel like one of my favorite looks, you know, like what was it, the Baps thing? Yes. And I think that and you know, I think back to that film, and that was a film that I loved watching so much as a kid too. So like, what sort of what films and things like did you watch then that culturally like you love and have inspired you like that you've been very excited to replicate in drag? And what ones do you feel like you still haven't been able to do?
Wow, that's a great question. Baps, of course, was on the mood board. My favorite movie of all time, people, I don't know if this is gonna be like a gag or anything, but like my favorite movie of all time is Hocus Pocus.
Oh sure. Okay. Queens like that one. Sure. Yeah.
Queens love. My second grade self just dies over it. But I would love to do a Sickening Winifred. It gets done every year, but I would love. She's my favorite. I love it. But I did A Different World with Whitley. Like, she was a big inspiration for me. Like, that voice, I love.
Can that show come back in a huge way? I'm sorry. She is so... Jasmine Guy is so funny.
Yeah,
funny.
and looks the same.
Yes.
And looks the same. I watched interviews of her. She's like, we didn't know that was. We thought it was gonna be lame. We didn't know it was gonna be anything. And like, I was watching it like during the pandemic and being like, this was so funny. Like, I can't believe my Saturday morning cartoons, if you will. That was my Saturday morning watch. I loved it. And what else did I watch? Oh my God, I watched so many things. Soap operas was a huge thing for me. Mm-hmm. I loved watching because to me, like, it's a total polarization of the drama. It's like, it's ridiculousness. Like, those things are not happening. So like, I loved watching soaps and being like in the drama world in that way. So like all those things, you know, I would love to do a soap. I would love to go on as like, even at Drag Queen, just being on there, I would love. Just like have an episode.
Honestly,
that would be so fun.
I feel like I would love to see like sort of a drag inspired soap opera, if only because I feel like the whole point of soap operas in general was, you know, the glam, you know, it would be people dressed up to the nines in evening gowns and stuff, and that's when soaps had the budget. But like, it was all about the exaggeration. But culturally now, the only place we really get that exaggeration is through drag, which is now on television more, and like that exaggeration when you get even like those acting challenges and things on RuPaul.
I mean, there's soap operas.
That is what we used to get,
right?
You know,
yes.
Soap operas are very muted now.
Yes,
they're
it's
broke.
Like, oh, what are they doing? What are they doing today? Not broke.
they're broke, baby.
Not
broke. There's not glam, okay? There is 9 West, okay?
That is funny, but you're not wrong. You ain't wrong, child. And you ain't wrong, because I remember I look at the little clips because you have to do your little research, you know. Because I started, I don't know why, I was in high school and I would come home and I would watch Charmed. And then I would go to the soap, you know, I would go to the soap channel. You know the soap channel, you remember soap channel?
SoapNet.
And they would come, the SoapNet, and you would have your soaps. I would watch them from 6 to 8. That was my soap opera block. And then I would go and watch whatever came on at on ABC, you know, or watch Scandal or some shit. But it's not the same, you right. And I would have to go back and watch and research and be like, bitch, they used to wear the clothes and the makeup and the hair, child. What had happened? Now they straight ironing and getting their stuff from the rainbow, child. What is going on?
Is there anybody from your season that you've gained a really strong relationship with that you maybe were surprised to have like a long-term relationship with?
I wouldn't say surprised, because I'm a really good judge of character for the most part. When love gets involved, we might have a little problem, but you know, for the most part, I can pretty suss them out. But I'm cool with Candy. That's my girl. I love Candy. That's one of the people her and her family, the Muses, child. We are really cool. That's one of the people, when they come, I go there, they take care of me. When they come here, we take care of them. Mick, of course. I got Mick. I'm cool with her. I chill with her.
One of a kind.
It's always a good time. One of a kind, darling. One of a fucking kind. Are we allowed to cuss? We can cuss on.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, good. One of a fucking kind. I call her. I still think of her as a rock star. I think so that she's a rock star. And Denali, I talk to her every now and again. So those are the three. I wouldn't say surprised. I wouldn't say surprised, but you know, also after the show, you know, all of us get so busy, and we all do our own thing. So I love y'all, but we don't talk all the time, you know. Yeah, they got my number too, so they can call me if they want to talk. Shit. Well, I feel bad. They can talk. You want to talk to me? You got my number, bitch.
They're on Instagram. You're in touch. Yeah.
Exactly, bitch. Yeah. We follow each other. We see what we doing.
Where do you even think, you know, drag should be going now? I think that, you know, you were such a bright light and lightning rod on that show. And then I think I love, you know, the Avalon TV. I love that, you know, you throw your own parties in LA. Yes. But is there something you still feel like is maybe missing for the community, or has like been missing since COVID or something, or just what is going on now? Like, what is drag to you right now, and what else do you want to see from drag?
Oh my God, I think, I don't know, in a weird way, I think after the pandemic, drag kind of had like, it was kind of like shot of a cannon in a way. I feel like I would love to see like a campaign, like a high elevated fashion campaign for a drag queen. I don't think we've necessarily, I may be wrong, check me, bitch. I don't know. Somebody tell me, send me some. But I have not yet to see that necessarily, and I would love to be the first candidate. I'll shoot my shot right now. But I would love to see that. But I think now after the pandemic, I think people were just in such they wanted it. They wanted it because we brought such light and such fun. And like I was saying, our season we aired during it, and so I think people were just thirsty for that. And I think now we've kind of have our tentacles in kind of everything now. We're in fashion, we're in television. I would love to see us more in television. I think that would be really fun outside of competition, and that would be really, really fun. But I think now we've kind of have our tentacles in everything. Like we're on TV, we're going to shows, we're on Broadway now. That would be more fun of that, So I think now we've definitely come out of the shadows of clubs and things like that. But I would love to see us more. I would love to see more of it. I think that now we're in it. I would love to see more of us in those spaces and those things. And we don't have to take over, but it would be nice if we could have a little bit of a slice, a little bit bigger of a slice. You know what I'm saying?
It does kill me that there's not, for example, we were talking at the beginning of the episode about the Kenneth Branagh mysteries. It's like, why are there not all drag versions of some of these movies that are like in theaters? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't that make sense?
It does make sense because we're actresses in our own way. The whole art form is like sort of an act. So like, why aren't there more of those things? You're right. Why don't we have an all drag, outside, all have drag housewives? Yeah. Why don't we have an all drag, top model? You know what I'm saying? I guess Drag Race is that. But, why don't we have an all drag soap opera? You know what I'm saying? Why don't we have those things? Come on now. Let's give it to us.
It's just so fitting.
You see what we can do? It's fitting. We lend ourselves to. We're already theatrical, darling. We can read anything. We can become anything. Look at us. You already know.
What else are your other performance aspirations? It's fun to see you do sketches and things on the show.
Yes.
But is that in your future? Are you, you're gonna train with Lee Strasberg? We're gonna get you ready to, be on The Great White Way or something like. What else do you want to do?
I love television, and it saved my life. It was my escape. I would love to do more acting. I think I'm not saying I'm the best of it all, but I would just love to be kind of what all those characters were to me and for somebody else. And I would love to be on the screen and just like express and be another character and really delve into that. I think that's one thing that I got to do Bros, which was really fun. But I would love to do more of that. And just explore different characters, explore different worlds, and kind of, stretch myself in that way. That's kind of more of what I would love to do.
Well, whatever's happening in the pop culture future, you need to be a part of it because you're
exactly.
such a light on Drag Race, and you are such a light in whatever you do. We are so thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here. I have to tell you, I'm a big fan. So thank you.
Oh God. Unfortunately, you just went down in my estimation. I was like, Symone has such good taste until today. Yeah.
That is fucked up.
You did it to yourself, darling. I'm so sorry.
Well, you can't win them all, child. You can't win them all.
You can probably.
Yeah, that's true. Historically, you have.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Keep It is brought to you by Viore, a new perspective on performance apparel. Perfect if you're sick and tired of traditional old workout gear. Because everything is designed to work out in, but doesn't look or feel like it. It's so freaking comfortable. You will want to wear it all the time. Seriously, it's more comfortable than whatever it is you're wearing now, Louis.
Oh, this Victor Victoria shirt? It can't be. The product is incredibly versatile. It can be used for just about any activity like running, training, swimming, or yoga, but it's also great for lounging or weekend errands. Happier on a healthy planet? We are. Viore is 100% offsetting their carbon footprint. They are also reducing and offsetting 100% of their plastic footprint from 2019 and beyond. They are utilizing better sustainable materials for their products and empowering your best active life. It's incredibly versatile and comfortable, designed to look great in everyday life, even outside the gym. It's perfect for any workout or activity. I just walked into a Viore the other day. Could have tried on everything there. I didn't have the time, but if I had the time, I would have tried it all on. The best-selling products include the women's performance jogger. It's the softest joggers you'll ever own. The new colors just came in, but hurry and get them while you can. They sell out quickly. The women's daily legging, the men's core short, which is the most comfortable lined athletic short, one short for every sport, and the men's Sunday performance jogger, the perfect lounge or work jogger. It's also available in a short.
Viore is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they are offering 20% off your first purchase. So get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at Viore.com/keepit. That's VUORI.com/keepit. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. order over $75 and free returns. Go to Viore.com/keepit and discover the versatility of Viore clothing. Viore.com/keepit. So versatile, it's like the Victor Victoria of workout gear.
Finally, you put it in a language I understand.
Drake has added another name to his list of celebrity beefs, and it's us.
The two of us?
Yeah. After this podcast.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Yeah. I'm gazing into the future, like Raven Symone.
Oh, right.
But no, he's currently invoked the fury of Storm herself. Halle Berry is out for Drake's blood after he used a photo of her getting slimed for his new album cover, Slime You Out, his new single with SZA. And before we get into that, the era where we were just slime celebrities.
We're talking like a Nickelodeon.
Yes, I miss it.
Oh, please. The Kids' Choice Awards, the Nick Takes Over Your School sweepstakes, where we thought like sliming someone was the ultimate victory, and then you would, I guess, high five your like 5th grade cohort. You know, we just loved that shit. The show You Can't Do That on Television, the origin story of Alanis Morissette, yes?
I definitely fucking applied for Nickelodeon Takes Over Your School.
Absolutely.
Every fucking year.
I thought it would lead to huge things for my school. I was like, structural change begins here. That's what I said.
But the album cover, basically it has a photo of Halle Berry being slimed. And the reason she's upset is because he asked for her permission to use the photo. And then she said no. And he still used it anyway. So she was upset that he basically asked for no reason.
Which, okay, that's fair. Right. I mean, it's also a somewhat embarrassing photo, I guess. You know, that's probably not the photo she leads with, you know, if she's auditioning or something. Not the headshot she uses.
Listen, she better call up Tracy Chapman, okay? Because Tracy Chapman knows how to deal with a rapper who ignores you.
Yes, right.
Remember when Nicki wanted that sample and then she tweeted out about Tracy Chapman not allowing her to use the sample, and Barb started attacking Tracy Chapman? Who are you?
And also, Tracy Chapman is among the most kind of timid people ever to exist in pop culture. The idea that Barbs are after her is crazy. I mean, it's just like, you know, that was vicious.
But this album cover, which is whatever, it's just a photo of Halle Berry being slimed. It's not really iconic. Made me think, what are some of our favorite iconic album covers? And I want to take a guess, a conjecture, a hypothesis as to what yours is.
Okay, well, the album I'm thinking of right now, I will say this, it comes from the time of me buying CDs. So it's more modern than old, if that's anyhow.
Okay. Oh, because I was thinking, you know, what fits Lewis? A woman contemplating, a white woman.
Oh, I know exactly where this is going.
Barefoot, sitting by a window.
Yes, I know exactly the album.
Which album?
Tapestry?
Yes.
It is the coziest album cover ever. And I've literally said about the album Tapestry that she should have called it Music to Pet a Cat too. And literally on the cover of that album, she is touching a cat. Yes. Love that album. I mean, it's nice. It's sort of typical of the time, a seemingly relaxed portrait of the artist. I think the best album cover to come out in my CD buying lifetime, and maybe ever, is The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Where it's etched into a desk, and it's the kind of desk it is, like an old desk that's still being used in like a classroom, maybe like not a rich high school. And it's such an awesome portrait of her too. And also, you forget that is the theme of the album. Like there are these interludes of like students talking about themes and stuff. So it just fits right in. Like it kind of binds the novel of the album.
Oh, I'll never forget that, because I remember you used to be able to pick an album to listen to in our sixth grade math class. And I picked The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It might have been 6th or 7th grade, but I picked The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And when the interludes started coming on and the kids realized that besides the 2 singles that they knew, the rest of the album was not as bumping as they'd liked, this absolute bitch in my class, Camille, told me.
Imagine not being a bitch and being named Camille, by the way. Go ahead.
Ira, maybe next time pick a different album.
Wow, in your face. And that's real origin story shit. Because I find you very obsessed with like a playlist at a party, and you're like, I will keep the guests moving. So that kind of is how you became who you are.
That is, yeah. I let them down.
Yeah, wow.
So,
by the way, there's lots of great, I would say, I don't know about danceable songs on the album, but like, you got Final Hour and Everything is Everything.
Everything is Everything.
Yeah. Every Ghetto, Every City. That's one of my favorite songs on that album.
Yeah, of course it is.
What?
I wish I remembered more about that math class, and I really did try to conjure up that teacher's name because I do recount that story in my book. But my teacher used to say this thing every morning. She would greet everyone, and she would say and have us like do it with her. Good morning. How are you? And something about I hope you're having a great day, and if you're not, that's okay. Life's about rolling with the punches.
Oh,
and she made us recite that with her every day. Oh, rolling with the punches, and they will come.
Oh, she's with you on this journey.
Will come. Yeah, she did that with us every day.
Wow. That reminds me of the morning announcements. And okay, we'll talk about album covers, I swear. But the morning announcements in high school, they would always end with, and eventually I did do these myself, but you had to be like a junior or senior to do them. But anyway, they would always end with, have a great day or not. The choice is yours. I disagree. I disagree. It's like that part in the song Hold On by Wilson Phillips where suddenly they say, you got yourself into your own mess. No, I didn't. What? Stop blaming me. I thought this was like a peppy song.
I'm loving that as one of your origin stories, though.
I fucking guess. Yeah, right. Make a great day or not. The choice is yours. What snotty.
They used to blare, because I went to a Jesuit school, and they were very obsessed with Uplift. There was a particular year where every morning I heard Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles played on the morning announcement.
Oh, we do not want to hear that every day.
I think that's my sleeper cell song. That song plays, I pick up the nearest weapon and I slaughter everyone in the cafe.
Yeah. No. Songs that are just the whole point is perkiness, I cannot. You better be Carly Rae Jepsen. No one else will do. You almost have to be Canadian. That I know.
Like one of my favorite album covers that has stuck with me forever, and this is from like 2002. The Flaming Lipses.
Ooh, sure.
Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots.
That's from the last era of going to Best Buy and picking albums based on what has a cool album cover, and that is one of the great album covers of that time, certainly.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous. I feel like that is an album cover that I would either get like a print of to put on my wall, or it's definitely one of the ones where that's why you buy vinyls or why you buy CDs, and you used to be, and you would like to display them. God, I really miss the CD, the little CD towers that we used to have, where you could display your CD either spinning around or you slide them in. We really used to have beautiful ways to display physical media.
Oh, yeah. No, a CD tower, I mean, like, if you still have a CD tower, by the way, something in your stack is like Bonnie Raitt's greatest hits. That's like the genre of person who has a CD tower.
Or what I used to take to school, did you ever have a CD binder?
Oh, that's all I had. I don't know if I bought anything else in my life.
So for the kids listening, a CD binder was a huge ass binder that you carried around multiple CDs in, and I think they usually carried about 30 or maybe 60 if you got a bigger one, but you would take the CD out and put it into a sleeve, and then you could also take out the booklet and stick it there too, so you could see the art and remember where the CD was supposed to go when you took it out to use it. Just the fact that I used to carry around like 30 to 60 fucking CDs in my backpack every day.
Like I'm a DJ or something. I would do this all the time. No, here's my question. So when you had the CD booklet or the CD binder, would you put the CD behind the booklet or would you put it in front of the booklet in the case?
I put it in front of the booklet.
Interesting choice, because I feel like the CD case is designed so that you can put the CD there and it won't scratch it. That said, there is something aesthetically pleasing about having the CD in front of the booklet, because then you would know if it was taken out or not.
Follow-up question. Were you an Adrian Monk like me and organized the booklets alphabetically?
I didn't do alphabetically. I usually went by tape. Like, I remember I was like, well, all the Madonna CDs have to come first. And then my second favorite is whatever it was, Alanis Morissette or Carpenters or something. And then Liz Phair. And then Amy Mann. And then, yeah. So it was like priority.
Alphabetic was very stressful. And I feel like
that sucks.
At some point, I lost that amount of precision and order in my life. As you all know. But at that point in my life, it was like a weird tick. And it also gave you something to do each weekend though too, because when you would buy a new album, then you would have to take the CDs out and put them in alphabetical order again, because you had to place one in the center.
Totally. No, also my theory is that every CD binder, no matter what size it is, if it's like one with 12 in it, if it's one with 72, at the end of it, these are all the ones still in existence. At the end of all of them is Red Hot Chili Peppers' Californication. I absolutely know that is in every CD binder. I absolutely know it.
It was in mine.
That's what I mean. Everybody owned that. Like, they suddenly mattered to everybody after years of being like, you know, raunchy. Then suddenly they were like this respectable elder band who sat on the beach and contemplated things near the surf.
And everyone had Design of a Decade.
Oh, of course. Runaway is still my favorite Janet Jackson song, which somebody was making fun of me for. I love that song.
Who made fun of you for liking that song?
You tell me. Beautiful song. I know. I love the cheesy video too, where she's like, "I'm dancing on the Eiffel Tower too," or whatever.
Well, but the reason why everyone had that's a gorgeous album cover.
Yes.
That's just her. Isn't it her in the white?
It's from the
in the white dress shirt.
Wait. Yes. I was going to say it's from the Love Will Never Do video, but it's not.
But it looks like that.
Yeah.
It looks like that era of her. Everyone had Design of a Decade, by the way, because back in the era of CDs, a greatest hits album actually used to mean something. It meant that you did not have to go out and buy individual singles or buy multiple CDs to get the songs that you wanted, which were usually just the singles of an artist. So when you bought that, you had multiple songs from an artist on one CD, which are sort of makes no fucking sense now.
Right.
Even release one, I guess contractually people still release them, and I like when people release. Mariah's still doing it every anniversary for things, and like they add in remixes and other stuff. But now that songs and albums are on streaming, it sort of loses the luster that it had when you would go and buy someone's greatest hit CD. Because also pre-Spotify and being able to make mixes, if you wanted to have like a fun party mix of Madonna songs, for instance, you could just put on the Immaculate Collection, instead of putting on one whole album with songs that people except for fans know.
I also want to say, Mariah recently, it's the anniversary of Music Box, I think, and she put out a song called Workin' Hard from that time and a remix.
It's so fucking good.
So good. I was shocked to hear it. I can't believe it didn't make the album. I also want to say about the Immaculate Collection, that I think is still one of the smartest decisions Madonna ever made, because one, all those songs are nearly classics, so you had to buy the album. Also, it was filled with things that were only on movie soundtracks, so it's like, oh, I can't get Into the Groove anywhere else, or I don't want to buy the Dick Tracy soundtrack, so I'll have to get Vogue here or whatever. And then the classics that would, of course, be on the album, like Open Your Heart or La Isla Bonita or Like a Virgin or whatever, Holiday, Lucky Star, she shortened or lengthened them or changed them in some way. So if you liked those, you would still maybe be prompted to buy the originals because they weren't the same versions. That's one of the, I think, more interesting things she's ever done.
It is just very weird to remember the era where if you wanted to listen to a song and you did not have it, you were not hearing that song.
No. Songs were just around us all the time. You couldn't just pull them from the ether. Yeah.
Speaking of Madonna, one of my favorite album covers is the Like a Prayer album
I
cover.
think that is her best album cover because it's sensual and also very unexpected from her. We hadn't seen her look like that before. So it was the demarcation of a new era for sure. Other album covers I like. Aretha Franklin, Young, Gifted, and Black. Just a beautiful album cover.
Oh, I was thinking about that one. The stain-colored glass behind her. That's a beautiful album cover.
Yeah. Miles Davis, Bitches Brew. Fabulous. Liz Phair, Exile in Guyville, which I believe is a Polaroid taken from a club in Chicago. And I, for many years, did not know. She's sort of making a gesture, like opening her mouth. It's black and white. In the bottom part of the frame, you can see Liz Phair's nipple. It is just on the album cover. Like, you look at it and you're like, that's definitely a nipple, and I've never looked. It's crazy. Anyway, might be gay.
Lil' Kim's Hardcore album cover,
Fabulous.
where she's just perched on that rug and the champagne behind her. Very sexy album cover. You mentioned Young, Gifted, and Black reminded me of Roberta Flack's album cover where she's playing the piano. First Take, that album, First Take. I think that's a gorgeous cover.
Rolling Stone did a list of the 100 best album covers recently. The number one was The Velvet Underground and Nico, which of course is just the white background with the yellow Andy Warhol banana on it, which you could, of course, peel. It says peel back and see on the cover. And I guess
Rolling Stone made that list.
I know.
There wasn't no niggas on it.
Let me tell you something. We'll be getting into that momentarily. But Gen Z was complaining like it's just a banana. It's like, oh my god, wow! The internet now has to explain art to them. Oh no,
that was the banana. Okay.
Yeah.
That like
this isn't bananas and pajamas, motherfucker. Yeah.
Okay. Shakita couldn't even get that banana.
She was booked.
The banana boat.
Yeah.
It was not on that.
Deo.
Okay.
Go away.
It's just a banana. Shut up.
Yeah. Don't get shit. Also, it's like, can you just wiki it? Can you just look up what? Like, do you think it's just a banana? Do you think they would put it at the top of a list if it were just a banana? Moving on. Also,
Magilla Gorilla's most prized possession.
Yes. Anyway, we'll get into Rolling Stone momentarily in the Keep It section. Actually, let's just go to the Keep It section. We'll be back in a second with the next section of our podcast, Keep It, which is called Keep It. We're on the podcast, Keep It. We are back with our favorite segment of the episode. It's Keep It. I have calmed down from when I was just amping up my Keep It seconds ago. I'm a more sedate version of myself. We'll start with Ira's Keep It. Ira, what is your Keep It this week?
My Keep It this week goes to Chris Brown.
I remember him.
Chris Brown got upset.
That sounds like him.
He was upset at Tinashe for her comments about regretting working with him in 2015.
What did he expect her to say? And above all, I loved working with Chris Brown the most.
His response was, name 5 Tinashe songs. I was very upset with him for dragging Tinashe, but it did take me a few minutes to name 5.
Minutes? Wow, you really pledged your time.
I love Tinashe.
I can do this.
I love Tinashe. Can you?
Maybe not. I do feel as if Tinashe has been locked on the WeHo Pride stage since about 2017. Someone let her out.
I am a big Tinashe fan, and I love her albums. I love her current one. It's called BB Angel. BB/Angel. And the E is a 3. There's a lot going on. It's very Prince. Very Prince coded.
Yeah, quite. Latter-day Prince, yes.
She is one of those artists where some of those song titles were blending together for me. I mean, obviously 2 On and obviously Jealous with Nick Jonas. And then I'm like, well, Drop My Kitty with Charlie XCX and Cold Sweat, Aquarius, All Hands on Deck. I've already named more than 5. So, yeah.
Right.
I was upset with him for being a bitch, but a funny bitch.
I was at a party recently, and somebody heard I was really into pop culture, and they go, well, what do you think of Rihanna? I was like, what do I think of Rihanna? I was like, I can't even pick a favorite Rihanna song or moment. I love Rihanna, whatever. I didn't understand the tone of what he was saying, if he was about to get into the Super Bowl performance or what. And then this guy goes, I don't know this person, by the way. He goes, well, what do you think? Don't you think she's a terrible role model? And I was like, a terrible role model? Like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, didn't she get back with, and I literally stopped him right there. I was like, you need to actually just stop talking to me. I was like, are there really people out here thinking about Rihanna in that context still? Sorry, I haven't thought about Chris Brown in a long time, nor have I thought about this fucking dude.
Yeah.
So I was blown away. There's some sexist people out there. Anyway.
I hear you like pop culture. What do you think of Mean Girls?
I mean, I would have preferred that conversation. I can rank the cast members from that.
Don't you think Tina Fey is a bad role model? I also have a side comment. It's not a full keep it, but I do want to say, I had tweeted this too. If you are the less hot partner of a celebrity that the internet loves, you might as well just go and kill yourself, because people are
helpful.
mean as hell about people's boyfriends and girlfriends for no fucking reason. The internet recently found out who Ayo Edebiri was dating, and this white comedian, and people were going in on him for no other reason that he is dating a celebrity that they like. And damn, he didn't expect all that. It's like, if you're already a celebrity, you don't want to log on to the internet, right, and see what people are saying. But now you can't even date a celebrity and log on. Right.
Yeah, that is tough. By the way, I love Ira and Louis. How has this person not been on Keep It yet? Anyway, yeah. I just sometimes complain about people who have not been on this show.
The strike, girl.
That's right. Oh, yeah, that. Wow, we're still in it. I would love to work. Anyway.
We had, honestly, I'm not going to say who because we're going to rebook them, but we had a guest booked for truly the week of the strike, a gifted actress who we love and we bring up on this show all the time. And I'm devastated. This strike has affected me personally now.
Oh, okay. Right. No, I've been thinking of you throughout this entire experience, certainly.
Thank you.
Shall I get to my Keep It?
Yes.
My Keep It this week goes to Jan Wenner, co-founder of Rolling Stone magazine, which we just brought up, and also the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, except he is now no longer a part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's been kicked out of it. He has this new book called The Masters, where he interviews people he deems philosophers of rock, and this extends over many decades. He's obviously worked in the entertainment business a long, long time. Interviews include Bob Dylan, John Lennon, Mick Jagger, Pete Townsend, Jerry Garcia, Bono, and Bruce Springsteen. You may have noticed those philosophers of rock have something culturally in common. It's a little bit white. And when he was challenged about this, he says that no women or black artists were, quote unquote, articulate enough for him to interview for it. The word articulate is like, I would say like the textbook racist euphemism of all time. To hear yourself say the word articulate in this context is simply wretched. This person is a loser anyway. And then eventually he issued this lame apology claiming, I'm reading from Jezebel.com right now, claiming that the artist selections for the book were based on the impact on his world as opposed to the world, that's somehow even worse. You're this voice in the history of rock and roll, and you find it personally important to put out a book that establishes only white artists matter to you. First of all, I have gotten into several times how the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is one of the most classically sexist institutions on the planet. How there are only two female solo artists for the longest time who got it on their first year of eligibility, and that was Janis Joplin and Madonna. Tina Turner only getting in as a solo artist now. Need I say more? It's just so pathetic to me in retrospect, as somebody whom a lot of rock music means a lot to me, how much it's just white guys touting other white guys. How it's like white guys saying, these are the people who matter. These are the people I want to put on a poster in my room. These are the people I want to make monuments to. And then everybody else is sort of fighting for scraps, fighting to, have any space at all. And this person saying that, he says that Joni Mitchell was not a philosopher of rock, didn't mean anything to him. It's like, can't you fucking hear yourself? But of course, asking these people to hear themselves is, of course they can't. It's such a bummer, and he is such a fucking loser. I am so happy he's been purposefully minimized.
I'm so happy that I have always pronounced his name as Jan. Truly. I have.
Right. Yeah.
It's so expected, right? There's something different about writing about people who meant something to you and writing a book called The Masters. And you are the fucking co-founder of Rolling Stone. It's not Chuck Klosterman's Killing Yourself to Live, where he's following around metal bands that meant something to him when he was growing up, right? There's no connection to his youth or to his upbringing. These are just, these are the white dudes that I love. So I'm interviewing them.
Right. Also, I mean, like, you put your finger on it, to be like, for him to claim, oh, these are just the people who matter to me, and then calling the book The Masters as if his personal taste equates nobility, and that personal taste leaves out all these other people, is so gross and typical of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, frankly.
Also, never mind that these masters and people that you're interviewing are people who have borrowed so much from black artists, and you think that, oh, well, they had to go to the dark continent and take back that music, and then they were able to properly articulate it. It's very Joseph Conrad of him.
Also, it's like, you don't think Bruce Springsteen would be embarrassed to be in a collection of guys called The Masters, and there's only white people in it? It's like, you don't know these people at all.
As they always say, when one person is hated, another person comes into favor. And this was a good week for Drew Barrymore.
She quit. She's like, okay, you guys were right. Yes, we won't be putting the show on. Good for her, I guess.
Not me to throw in a third keep it today, but I just want to also mention that when someone does something shitty and then you call on them to not do that thing anymore and to apologize, and they do it, you should fucking accept it and be glad that it happened. There were so many comments online from people saying, well, she just did it because of the backlash. Of course she did it because of the backlash. That's the point of backlash.
Right.
Like what else? What else?
It's galvanizing.
What else do you want from her? I guess I sort of really hate that on the internet when people do apologize for things, but people still want their pound of flesh. They just want to be angry.
I think also in this case, people should also accept that, not everybody has participated in a strike before or known the ramifications of doing certain actions in a strike. And so in that case, I'm not saying Drew Barrymore hasn't been famous since 1982. I'm just saying I am not surprised she was inexperienced and made bad decisions, but then also listened to people and eventually made the right one. So I'm not saying she doesn't deserve criticism or like we should forget it that it happened or whatever, but ultimately the right thing happened. So that is, I'm psyched about that.
My scab week with Drew is a script that I'm working on, and it's about the week that I wrote for the Drew Barrymore show. While
right, you thought this would be your big break. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you were the only writer.
Which is also reminding me that people are calling for Dancing with the Stars to halt production because it's a WGA show. But they do only have one WGA writer on the show. So I love being one writer, and you're like, you will stop the show because of me.
Wow, and that's one guy who has to write the words Paso Doble so many times.
Would you ever do Dancing with the Stars?
Would I? I do think there's a high concentration of people who get injured on that show. But, yeah, if I didn't have a lot to do and, they stuck me with whatever, Derek Huff, I'm sure he's not involved anymore. Sure. Whatever Chmerkovsky brother is still there. Yeah, okay.
They let men dance together?
They did it one. No, JoJo Siwa was with a woman partner, correct?
I'd want to dance with J-Lo. I'd want to be Richard Gere in Shall We Dance.
That's your request when you walk in? They're like, all right, we'll find that VHS and watch it, I guess.
Isn't Alfre Woodard in that movie?
You won't believe what Alfre Woodard's been in, okay? You go through her filmography, you're like, whoa.
Maybe Marion Cotillard is the white Alfre Woodard.
You know what? That's honestly giving her a little bit too much
credit.
That's
fair. And give Alfre some Oscars.
She has one nomination for a movie nobody cares about called Cross Creek. No offense to our esteemed guest, Mary Steenburgen, who did that movie. But anyway.
She remembers it because of her memory thing.
That's Mary Lou Henner.
Oh, Mary Steenburgen has the music.
Yes.
Yes.
Mary Steenburgen, yes, went under the knife, came out with a crazy musical brain, yes.
They should solve mysteries together.
Actually, Ted and Mary should solve mysteries together. I'd watch that show.
Ted, Mary, and Mary Lou? I'd watch it. But yes, honestly, we've already talked about that dumb honorary Oscar for Angela Bassett that she's getting next year, and I wish we could put a stop to it. I get Angela Bassett and Alfre Woodard in a film where they are both nominated for an Oscar and they win. Who is writing an Angela Bassett, Alfre Woodard film? I need to see it.
It feels like that is how the show Ryan Murphy's Hollywood should have ended, with Oscars for the Angela Bassett, Alfre Woodard movie, and not the Oscars for the random 1947 movie with Anna Mae Wong they created.
What a weird-ass show.
What a weird show. Maybe going for cool things, who knows? Patti LuPone.
Queen Latifah is Hattie McDaniel. Ryan.
Right. It was bound to happen, I guess? Yeah.
All right, that's our show, so...
Was it? Okay.
I feel like people have been saying we've been on a roll lately, and I don't know what we did this week.
Yeah, all rolls stop eventually, Watch any boulder, it stops at some point.
Keep it as like Sisyphus' boulder, okay? We're rolled up, and then once we get to that apex, we roll back down, but it gives us something to work for.
That's right. We build again. That's right. Also, Sisyphus is the way you said it. Sisyphus is how I would have pronounced it. But Sisyphus is the name of my new queer T-shirt brand that I think we should all buy into.
You haven't seen how he pushed that boulder?
That's why he keeps falling down. The wrist strength on this bitch, he is doomed.
He should have been reaching for those grapes.
He keeps calling the boulder ma'am. Yeah. Ma'am, you just fell on me.